Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you. Today I'm going to be talking about, we'll be starting a new segment where I discuss my favorite animated adaptations of comic books. I'm going to start things off with a favorite of mine, and one that, in all honesty, is probably fairly well known, and let's be honest, it is the best adaptation of the source material. I'm talking, of course, about the Spawn cartoon from HBO. Now, the Spawn cartoon ran in from 1997 to 1999. It is 3 6-episode seasons. Episodes being about an hour and a half, or not an hour and a half, about a half hour long a piece. So yeah, that's that's 9 hours for 3 seasons, and it was wonderful. It definitely got the feel of the comics much better than the currently only live action film did. Now, first off, let's talk about let's give a brief overview of Spawn the character. The character that led to this cartoon. So, Spawn was created in the very early 90s after Todd McFarlane left Marvel, along with half of the other Marvel artists at the time. And McFarlane left because Marvel basically said, hey, the characters you created were created as work for hire, so we get final say, and anything you wanted to do with them, no. If it doesn't go with what we want to do, no, sorry. You have no say in the matter at all. So he said, fine, I'll start my own comic book company with hookers and blackjack. But anyways, he left Marvel alongside X-Force artist as well as Cable and Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld. Jim Lee, who drew the image that's on my shirt and was best known for his work on X-Men and previous Uncanny X-Men. It also does some work on The Punisher. Who else? Portillo, who had done some work on Uncanny X-Men. That's honestly what I know best from his pre-Marvel work. Jim Valentino, who had been working on Guardians of the Galaxy. Eric Larson, who would also work on Spider-Man books, but around the same time that McFarlane had, and Mark Silvestri, who had also done a lot of work on the X-Men books, primarily Wolverine. So anyway, like I said, they started their own company, and the whole thing was, if you create a character here, it's your character, man. We're going to pull this crap. Now, a funny aside. There actually was a point where McFarlane himself said, no, you created that as work for hire, it is my character. But that's not the point of this video, so yeah. Anyway, so Spawn's origin. A covert operative for the government named Al Simmons is betrayed and murdered, and because of all the terrible things he's done, goes to hell. Makes a deal with Malbolgia, a demon that runs the sphere of hell he ended up in. And so, he just wanted to see his wife again, And Malbolgia's like, hey, I hear you, and I'll make you a deal. You say yes to this deal, you get to go back and see your wife. And, well, Al just, caught up at the moment, like, okay, sure, where do I sign? Well, it seemed to be immediately that he went back to him. 5 years had gone by. His wife, Wanda, had remarried. In fact, had remarried his best friend, Terry Fitzgerald. When he was stuck in this weird black, red, and white outfit with a cape that was all over the damn place and chains that were, could do whatever was necessary. But he didn't want any of that. He just wanted his wife. And when he took off his mask, he realized that he looked horribly disfigured. And so, yeah, he was not a happy camp. And of course, and it would turn out that he agreed to become a general in Hell's army against heaven, a Hellspawn. And there's a demon by the name of Violator who pops around to say, "Hey, we gotta build up body count there, Bucko. After all, you need more soldiers to lead against the gates of heaven." But Spawn didn't want any part of that. So, yeah, he rebelled against the forces of hell. He fought the forces of heaven, battled the forces of earth as well, for that matter. Mob, government, cops, whoever. But yeah, that's an overview of Spawn, basically. So, but like I said, the character became rather popular. And I remember quite often during the 90s, at least in the early 90s, Spawn was frequently one of the top-selling comics of every month. Spawn and a lot of the other titles from Image had managed to change the Big Two into the Big Three. Also, creator-owned comics became a much bigger deal. Though creator-owned comics had been around for a while already. But yeah, anyway, so in the late 90s, that Time Warner kind of said, okay, so this Spawn comic, it's actually kind of popular. Maybe let's talk to the guy who owns the company that puts it out, and maybe see about a movie or something. My friend said, "Yeah, sure." Wanted to be involved as possible, and well, yeah, we saw the movie is, in my opinion, best left ignored. Then there was also the cartoon. The cartoon actually is a fairly accurate portrayal of the first few years worth or so, the first 2 or 3 years worth of Spawn. But it also goes on its own path in a lot of other ways. So yeah. Anyway, so the voice cast. First off, we've got Keith David, character actor, who also does a lot of voice acting. When it comes to some of the roles he's played over the years, he's Childs in John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah, he has a very distinct voice, which I think worked perfectly for Spawn. To be perfectly honest, the 2 actors who have been cast over the years as Spawn were both excellent in the role. So, yeah. That's one of the good things I can say about the Spawn movie, is Michael J. White made a good Spawn. Next up, we had Richard Dysart as Cogliostro. Cogliostro is revealed to be a Hellspawn from medieval times, who managed to regain his humanity, as it were. The Violator has 2 forms, Clown and Violator. He also has 2 voice actors, Michael Nicolosi as the Clown and James Haynes as the Violator. Haynes would also voice the Mafia, the cybernetic hitman for the Mafia, Overkill. Dominic Jennings would play Wanda Blake, who was Al Simmons' ex-widow. First, Terry Fitzgerald would be voiced first by Victor Love, then by Michael Beach. James Keane would play police officer Sam Burke, as well as mobster Tony Twist. There's a funny story about that, but that's not, this is the time for it. Michael McShane voiced Sam's partner Twitch. Jason Raptor Lee played Jason Wynn, and finally Debbie Morgan would play Granny Blake. Some guest voices that also were there include Ronnie Cox, who from RoboCop, the two-part episode Chain of Command from Star Trek: Next Generation. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. Ming Na was an angel named Jade, who kind of sort of took the place of a certain other angel. Robert Forster, as well as James Hong. Now, breakdown of the seasons. In season 1, Al Simmons returns, learns, we get all the stuff I mentioned earlier. He comes back to Earth, but the woman, my wife has moved on, remarried, and she married my best friend. What the hell, man? Got a violator, like, hey, you gotta do, kill people. Come on. Eventually, the two of them fight. There's also Sam and Twitch doing their thing, going after a child killer by the name of Billy Kincaid, who poses as an ice cream man, and is also appears to be connected to a case that Wanda is working on as an attorney. The advisor tips off Kincaid, points him in the direction of Wanda and Terry's daughter, and so he kidnaps her. Spawn rescues the girl, but however, this was actually a different one of the divergences between the comic and the cartoon. Spawn doesn't kill Billy. The Violator does. But Violator is just like, yeah, I'm totally gonna keep going after Spawn. Season 2, we have Spawn face the man who killed him. Now this was another divergence this was a divergence between the cartoon and the comic and the movie. So, in the cartoon, Rob Liefeld's character Chapel was revealed to have killed Al Simmons. It's after a falling out between Liefeld and McFarlane, it was briefly retconned that it was a woman named Jessica Priest, but that, like I said, I think it has gone back to being Chapel. The cartoon, the movie utilized Priest. In fact, the movie created Priest. Partially, I would presume, so that to avoid having to go to Rob Liefeld and say, "Hey, can we use Chapel?" The cartoon, yeah, hey, we're gonna use Chapel. Yeah. Overall, he was actually pretty well done. They definitely got the look right. Though what becomes of him is a bit different in the cartoon. Partially because there was a cartoon going as well at the same time that had where Chapel was a focal character, so there's that too. So anyway, Terry begins investigating Jason Wynn, who used to be Al's boss, ends up with a hit out on him. Salon Mets his place as defender of the alleyways, basically kicking the mob out of them. There's also a plot thread during season 1 that Wynn and Tony Twist were working together. And it's at the end of the season, Spawn manages to convince Wynn to back off of Wanda and Cyan, Terry and Wanda's daughter. In season 3, Spawn ends up sick. Major portion of it is Spawn trying to trying to find and rescue his former mentor, as well as Terry from Jason Wynn's allies. Also, the police are investigating the goings on in the alley and in the alleyways, and the chief of the NYPD ends up shooting Twitch and framing Spawn for the shooting. Some hunters from heaven, angels, a vampire and then an angel, begin hunting Spawn. He defeats the vampire, and then the angel eventually teams up with him. But in order to get an honorable death of sorts, she basically asks Spawn to kill her, and he obliges. At the end of the season, it's implied that Spawn's going to begin working with, well, it's not implied, he straight up says he wants his humanity back. Spawn begins working with Cagliostro to regain his humanity, just like Cagliostro did. Another subplot of Season 3 was that Spawn made himself look like Terry while Terry was missing and knocked up Wanda. And there was complication. There were starting to be complications from that pregnancy. But that's where the series ended. So, yeah. Anyway, this is honestly one of my favorite comic book based cartoons. It is up there to me alongside the Fox X-Men cartoon from the early '90s and Batman the Animated Series. This is just, yeah. There are times when I think they maybe handled things a little bit better than the comic even did. But it is definitely one of the more interesting cartoons. And if you've never watched it, I highly recommend doing so. Though, if you have a thing about language, gore, nudity, and children, maybe don't let your kids watch it, because this has all of those. A lot of all of those. So anyway, that's it for now. Tomorrow I will be posting up my 10 favorite movies of this past year. So yeah, we got that. Anyway, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon are the description down below. This is Rock Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.